she don't got no money. Sneaky hopping over turnstiles, underground freestyles. Cheap we for no money, steady hitting the one-y. One stop at the corner shop, Lucy in a Dutchy lucky. If R2, cop the 42. People watching on the stoop, damn she unique. If I tried like her, fly like her, I could be like
Welcome to the ACL chess practice tournament.
Fresh like you, flush like you, ew ain't you. Little lucky looking short stacks for the entry. Money, money, money. I'm feeling throwback, haggling the runnies, bloody marys and bloods. Money, 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 spent it on last night. Now I'm scraping pennies on me like I'm scraping my bone. That's funny, funny, funny. How funny how money make you feel like a bummy, make you act like a dummy. So you work hard, get more, spend it, getting money, spend it, getting money. You work hard, get money, spend it, getting money, spend it, getting money.
What is surprise? The person playing board 1 is none other than
all the things I would do, 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 all the things that they do, all the things that they do, all the things that they do.
Yep, the person playing board 1 is 6-time South African champion, Charles de Villiers. Okay, it's quite nice that White has got this diagonals towards the king, and Charles at his age, one of the things he really likes is attacking. Of course, he's going to Jeremy here. Okay, so part of it is admitting people in and making sure the games go on, commenting. Okay, so here the problem for Black is how to develop this knight. It is trying to come up perhaps to create a passed pawn. Charles, I think, can punish this. Now the queen can't just go to d7 because knight is coming to e5, and it looks like the white pieces are jumping into Black's position very quickly. And for White, he achieves this position without having to sacrifice anything. So this is very exciting. There's no way, there's no point in retreating this bishop. You have to continue with attack, and that's what Charles is just weighing. Do I go queen f5, threatening queen h7 and mate? At which point Black is forced to play g6. Then you don't even have to hurry. You can play queen g6 check, queen f6 check, and when the king moves, you take on f6 with check, and it's winning. So this is probably already done. It's just verifying, making sure that his calculations are correct. Charles really enjoys his calculations. He goes for this one. How is this better? Whoa, this is interesting. This was not the move I really expected in this position. It does still remain that, of course, he can't move that. He can't take here. Definitely he can't take here, because after queen takes, threatening mate, at the same time threatening the knight. So queen f8 would be forced. but I've got a feeling that after bishop e6 check followed by rook f7, that should win. And now it's the defender's job now to try and get something out of this position. Now this is why I wanted the queen in front, because now you would be taking on check and it would be mate. But white has a significant advantage here. It's not game over. You could even just play bishop here. But oh, this is attacking the rook. So this could be very interesting. Ooh, this could be very interesting. Rook takes with check. King takes. Then bishop takes with check. If knight takes, then queen check. Not enough. Oh, he starts with bishop e6 check. Okay, the bishop has to go back. In chess, you don't want to easily give away these bishops. Although they are about the same value as the knights, bishops tend to be much more versatile than knights are. Knights move a bit slowly and they've got certain positions they really do well in, where they could even be worth more than a rook, but those positions don't occur that much. So moves back the bishop. Now it's pointless to continue knight g6 here because the knight has got nowhere to go. At the same time, it would be nice if this knight could stop this other knight from becoming active, so that's why he just moves g6 anyway. Now he has to go f5. Not really can't, because this pawn is under fire, so he has to go queen e7. It's not that white is threatening to take it, but I think white could benefit from an endgame where if he exchanges, it might be good for him. This is so contradicting the demands of the position. There was an open file here, so there was no need to move the rook away. Poor play by white here. Of course, these positions require a little bit of patience. So maybe rook a8 is a no-brainer. And here you can play bishop c6, not necessarily with the idea of winning the pawn, but the idea of trying to lure white to play d5, so that you can start with your queen side play. Here f5 is an idea for you have to play something like b6 and sort of bring it back into the game to take a few moves. It's not really what you want ideally, but you know. Okay, so I don't know how he gave up this light squared bishop, but exchanging in this position would favor white because he's the one who gets the semi-open file, and he's already starting to get the semi-open file anyway. Libos, I think, has misplayed this a little bit. Oh, this is a mistake. You can win some material, I guess, here. Our pawn takes and then take on e4. Yes, f7 would have fallen, but e3 would fall also. These pawns are in the same rank, and this would just help black. It was a much more active way of playing, much better than what's happening now. Okay, so normally this is the kind of structure you're trying to lure someone who's got double pawns. In this case though, it's a bit late to sort of play for this, but maybe not, considering the time. The ideal station for this knight would be c5, maybe with a pawn on a5, but this wouldn't stop black from playing white from playing b4. Wonder if he wants to really play f5. He can, but that will just straighten out the pawns for white. Which you just have to wonder if it's worth it. But this now overloads the queen on I'm not so sure about this. Hey, stuff paper 27, thank you and welcome to ACOHS. Thank you so much for the follow. g6, knight has to go back, and then I think he's got this move, knight to and now white is forced to take on f7. But after rook takes f7, white is in trouble. So you can't actually do that. He has to do something completely different. Now rook takes f7, very good. And now white is just simply lost because rook takes f1, the knight is threatening the queen, and black has to move. Hey, Lawrence Lim, welcome, and James Gold, thank you so much and welcome. Thank you for following, James. Thank you for all the support. Very nice move. Knight takes. Obviously now black is just winning. It's going to collect these pawns. The knight cannot even get out of this prison it's built for itself. Yep, the knight is overwhelmed. Rook takes. He could have taken the knight, but it's not going anyway. This might have been a mistake, but take. Okay, it's alright. Everything is under control. Look there. And the knight has to go back the same way. Okay, so you can see Liam's time. Yeah, okay. He just simply wins. Well done, Liam. Next round is done. So Charles de Villiers is leading the tournament, followed by Abdul and Liam on third, Snoket on fourth, Farouk on fifth, Amira on sixth, ZB on seventh, Bold MV on eighth, Akshay on ninth, and Jeremy on 10th. Okay. So Charles de Villiers, James Allison on board 1, Queen's Gambit. So Charles plays the line which avoids the exchange, the dangerous exchange that can happen here. James goes for the exchange. When you play the exchange like this, you have to put your bishop on f4 because you can't put it on g5, e3, bishop goes to d3, knight g goes to e2. Here you have to play bishop g3. At least that's what the theory recommends. And now you can come with knight f6. Okay, he prefers this. This helps the bishop to get to f5. So you go bishop d3 and knight g e2. The idea of playing bishop d3 and knight ge2 is to be able to play f3 and e4. Here, by playing knight ge2, you don't waste your time with this exchange and you can castle. That's the idea. But it looks like James is already thinking here. You shouldn't be thinking at this point. This is just theory. Taking is a mistake. So this is something that we push a lot on kids, that to take is a mistake, but no matter how many times you say, they keep doing it. Queen d3. Now imagine if you had let the bishop capture, the queen would be guarding this square, the knight would not be able to be in a prominent position like this. Now he's trying to force black to take on g3, which opens the h file, and the rook and the queen would be ganging up on this pawn. And here James immediately senses that idea from Charles and he doesn't bother taking. Knight goes to f3 for Charles. It's a bit different the way he's doing it. It's kind of mixing ideas. But now there's another sort of tension that's taking place in this game, like who will castle first. This is constantly going there because someone has got violent thoughts here right now. If you castle short, they will castle long. This is what I'm talking about. So if now black castles short, then white wants to pawn storm it. And this is when you consider that Charles is like over 60 years old, I think, going for 70, but he plays like a young man. He's the one who's playing the much more violent approach. And now James opens the h file. It's like double daring Charles to come for him, but he hasn't castled, so he could still also castle long. So here he is to just protect the pawn, and I think that's his main objective right now. And it's going for it now. e4. So Charles, again, violent thoughts. He wants to play e5, or if you open the file, he wants to play with check, opening up the king position. He's not a player who goes in slowly into playing a game. He's hard hitting. That's what made him a 6-time South African champion. You don't become a champion if you by not punching. He punches hard. So here, Snowy is one of the top players at Stellenbosch University. He's one of the really promising players that the university is working on right now. And as you can see, he's not taking the punches lying down. He's counter-attacking. Here, he's got a few ideas. You open the file. He wants to eliminate the knight. But I think here he might just be a move behind because this pawn takes also opens up lines. But he has ideas that he can take with check, of course. And Charles has got some decisions to make. Does he quietly take on c3 and hope that after this retake, he's got enough time to play rook check? Or does James castle here, just to make sure that at least his king is safe and maybe sacrifice a pawn? What price is he willing to pay to put his king in safety? Nope, he's not prepared to pay any price, and here he will pay the price. Charles is definitely going to catch him in the center with check, which he does. And now it's a question of how does he put this king into a safe place. This is a bit silly. He's keeping his king in the center, and I'm telling you, Charles is not going to hold back. He's just going to figure out how to attack. Now he has all the time in the world. King d8 came with a threat. This sneaky young man, he was threatening to skewer the queen against the king, and the king simply sidestepped. And now, does this move have any value on its own? Let's say after check and he takes the pawn. We wait to see. Plays rook e8 instead. And this ability to see the obvious, the not so obvious from the obvious, and separating them is an amazing quality of some of the top chess players. Here, it was always a consideration of how you're going to parry this threat, and I think maybe just queen b6. Not knight. Because now Charles doesn't want to exchange pieces, of course. He wants to attack, so I think this is quite a fitting move, as it throws a piece into the game, although you have to consider okay, to defend up to this point, James has had to use quite a bit of time. He's on a minute and 20 seconds. Charles has got 2 minutes, almost double that. James might just escape with you see what Charles did? He just made a barrier for the black king to not escape the center. He wants to come with rook e1 check. And now, what does he do with his king? He comes back in the center. This is the problem, right? He should have maybe paid with the pawn and gotten his king out of the attack zone. That would have made a lot of sense. Right now, he's going to pay the price of not castling. It's getting intense. Rook c8. Check. What does he do with his king? Does he bring him into the center? Yep, back. Is this a factor? Oh, the pawn. Yeah, this was always going to be a problem. James quickly played this move. I'm not sure. But black's on white's side. This move is worth considering. Threatening mate. Oh, this is a blunder. I think this is a. I think he tried to move the queen and. Oh no. Tricks galore. You take and it's mate in one. Traps on traps on traps. Traps on traps on traps. The young ones are not playing around. Sorry, we had a technical glitch there, but we are back online. I have no explanation on what was happening there. Okay, apologies, we are back online. It's like we had a momentary downtime, so to speak. Let's see. Okay, good. So looks like we are back, and Faruqi is playing. So Abdo is now leading with 3 points, and Charles de Villiers on 3 points, and Faruqi on 3 points. So the two players playing on top here are leading the tournament, including one more Charles just behind them. So here we see an interesting position. Black has got these weaknesses, and White has got the knights to exploit these weaknesses. Abdu is originally from... which country is he? Is Abdu from? He's from Algeria, I think. Algeria. And he's a strong player from CPUT. Hey, thanks Mozi, thank you and welcome to the channel. Hoping you're having a good time. I'm not sure why you're not playing, but you should be playing this tournament.